Welcome to day 3 of the Astro Clock Fast. Now, full disclosure, the fast has been broken, and this happens when fasting a lot. Alright, this is why fasting is a constant process. You don't just try to fast once. Before I successfully did my 24 days back in 2018, I did a 5-day fast. I did multiple 3-day fasts. I did a bunch of 1-day fasts. I did a 10-day fast. There was one time where I completely sacrificed eating super duper custom made, very expensive, good pizza from my school because I was an RA. I was working as an RA for my college during the summer, and that was when I started fasting. Was when I was an RA living in the dorm, working in the dorm, and I needed a change because I broke up with this person that I wasn't supposed to date, but I ended up dating her because there's a whole group of girls that started harassing her, and it wasn't safe for me to be with any other girl but her, and we already were clicking, so it just naturally we got together, and that was the whole thing. So I felt like I really needed change, and it was in this specific moment where, as an RA, I was having a meeting with all the other RAs because we were having our game plan, and they provided this really good pizza, and I felt like I needed to not eat it because I was 2 days in, and that was the fast where I did 10 days. I didn't even successfully do the 24 days in that run, but I completely sacrificed eating pizza that I have never been able to go back and eat again. I can't go back in time and eat that pizza. So that's that's very real because I regret not eating that pizza that day. I would still be Chase. I would still have all the awareness I have about fasting. I would still have chaseyourgenes.com. I'd still have Always Ascending Academy. I would still be tapped into Mercury. I'd still be tuned in to Metatron's Metaverse. I would still have all that. But at the very least, I would have been able to enjoy all that pizza because guess what? They were giving it away free to any RA who wanted to take it. And I didn't even take it because I was so set on fasting in that time. So I not only could have had, it was deep dish pan pizza, like a lot of cheese. It's Chicago. I'm going to school in Chicago. So they slap with the pan deep dish pizza. Okay, they don't play. Chicago doesn't play with the deep dish. All right, they take that seriously, and my school took it seriously, and I took fasting too seriously, and I missed out. So that's a huge reason why people don't fast. A huge reason why people don't fast and don't continue fasting is because they feel like they're missing out on eating. They feel like they're missing out on the world. As someone who fasts a lot, I just fasted through Christmas. So now eating yesterday was not because I wanted to eat. It was because my partner, my roommate, wanted to eat. And this is where I can see that fasting is way easier to do when you're alone. And this is what I'm talking about with soul suppressing souls. When I'm alone with myself, I don't want to eat nearly as much as other people try to convince me I should eat when I'm with them. And that has consistently happened in my life. I'm a Taurus, okay? I'm not saying I don't like eating in general. I enjoy food in general. Food just tastes better after you fasted. And food tastes better when you're not eating it every day. So I don't want to eat nearly as much as other people want to eat. And that's a huge reason why I fast as much as I do. That's why I fast as much as I have. I've fasted over 400 days since I started in 2018. And that's only been possible because I choose to use my ego to separate from the universe. And that happens mentally. So mentally, me separating from the universe is literally me choosing to not eat the same things that everyone else is eating. When I choose to not eat the same things other people eat or participate in the same things other people participate in, I'm separating my ego from all the souls that are connecting with the universe. And this is the concept, actually, though, of raising the frequency of your vibration. This is why when Jesus fasted, he had to do 40 days alone. When Buddha learned Buddhism so that he could take credit for Brahma's brain, he had to go fast because that's really just Mercury. That's the Masons stealing everything from Mercury so that they can make money teaching all of us to eat every day, because they're weaponizing Mercury against us by trapping our vibration in the universe. And when your vibration gets trapped in the universe, you become a victim of the emotions of people around you. And that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about soul suppressing souls. When we're all spending time together in the universe, it's really easy to let other people's emotions affect yours. And especially when other people are very adamant that you need to do what they say, this is how, as children, we're all victims of the universe, because we don't have a choice whether we want to do what our parents are telling us to do or not. So when your parents are telling you that you need to eat, and your parents are telling you that you need to go to church and you need to go to school, you don't have a choice in that matter. I know growing up as a child, I never once chose to go to church. I never once chose to go to school. I was always forced. It was mandatory. Going to church and school is mandatory since I was circumcised by the Jewish justice system. It's mandatory for a slave to serve the government by going to church on Sunday and then attending school to learn how to work on Monday. All right, you have fire, water. Worship God on Fire Day and then connect with the people by serving God on Water Day. They're weaponizing masculine and feminine energy against us right there in the weekday structure. And why do they call it a week? I brought that up to people, and one person was very funny. They were delivering food, and they told me, oh, we should call it a strength. Why are we calling them weeks? We could call them strengths. We could. We're one strength away from the date that we set to be successful. Nah. Instead, it's a week. They want everyone to be weak. The Masons who stole everything from Mercury, they stole this language from Metatron. They want all of us to be weak. So we spend our weeks serving God. And that's what it means to be meek, to be a weak, meek sheep. Overall, you go eek because you're scared. And when you're weak, you're scared. So fasting is scary. And fasting is scary because people find their own emotions scary. People are literally scared of their own emotions. And that's why the universe is scary. Because the universe is created by all of our emotions being out of control of one another. So when I see someone who's out of control, that's scary to me. That's generally how movies work, right? That's what a movie is. When you strap yourself in for a movie, Sagittarius energy, movies are Sagittarius energy, they can let your mind travel and connect with imaginations that you did not create. They're not yours. You're not responsible for that movie. Someone else is responsible for that movie. Now, because a bunch of people came together and made their responsibilities relatable, you can connect with that movie. And now that movie can make money. Okay, so that's the number 2. That's all Sagittarius. And that's only possible because we all have our own Leo. We all have our own 1. Okay, so today, Aries, just making you aware that I broke the fast and I'm going to have to jump back in. And it's because the souls around me want to keep eating. And when people around me stop eating, they start to scare me because their emotions become more out of control. And it's is very real. This is why, again, Jesus and Buddha fasted alone. And in general, the Buddhist path, Jesus took the Buddhist path to learn about God. The Buddhist path that Brahma used Mercury to create, that's why Buddha literally means Mercury. They're chasing Mercury for money. Is to use your ego to go be happy alone. And that's Hermeticism. Hermeticism is all about being happy alone. When you're happy alone, you'll actually be able to be creative, and you'll actually be able to expand the universe in a higher vibrational way, like I'm doing now. My roommate has no idea about the videos that I want to do or what's going on in my head. She just wants me to make money so that she can keep doing what she wants to do. But she doesn't see how the more she gets me to do what she wants me to do, I lose my masculinity, basically, my linear masculinity. I'm thinking of like linearity with the masculine. So to have the line in your masculine is for you to be linear. And that's how the ego works. The ego works in a linear fashion, and it's always working to push forward. So if I want to push forward with making videos, for example, I have to use my masculinity, my masculinearity, my linear masculine energy to progress into the future that only I can see, because no one can see what I'm going to say next. That's how the ego works. Again, this is how we know the ego is infinitely real for everyone. Everyone has their own ego because everyone has their own future. Me thinking about what I'm going to say next is my ego creating a projection that only my spirit can observe. And this is how all of our minds are creative. That's why Hermes is using the liar to show you that everyone is a liar. And that's the truth of life being named a lie. Your life is a lie because you yourself are a liar. You made it up. You made your life up. You're a liar. Now, the more you live in your integrity, the more you expand upon your vision, and the more you connect with others, the more your lie becomes a truth. So before I was born, me saying that my name is Chase is a lie. After I'm born, now that other people call me Chase, it's a truth. Even though in the spirit realm, it's still a lie because I'm not actually Chase. I'm not anything I create. And this is why God knows that God is a liar, because God knows that lies are creative and God creates anything that God wants. And if God can create anything, then that means that God is a liar, because lies are creative and made up and not grounded in reality. So that's what your ego's superpower is. And everyone's superpower is the ability to say that someone else is lying when they're not. So I could sit here and talk about my past lives forever, and you would just sit on the other side of that screen and say, I'm lying. And that's your ego. And I'm aware of that. All right. So this is what Aries is all about. The 3 being the mind. My mind is aware that your mind has your own ego and your own soul. And that's what we just covered in the last episodes. All right. Your Leo is your ego, and your Sagittarius is your imagination. Okay. Your Scorpio is your soul. That's next episode. But Sagittarius relates to your soul based on your ego's desire to connect with other egos. And that's what the number 2 is all about. Okay. So your ego creates a soul, which then allows you to feel like you are connected to other souls. But this is also why we have the concept of the ego making you unique and individual from every soul that you feel like you're the same as. Okay, so we can already see when we're talking about these concepts that the ego is masculine and the soul is feminine. But your mind has to have both because you're a child of God. If you want to learn more, you know where to find me. chaseyourgenes.com. at Always Ascending Academy. This has been Symmetry. Peace out. Gang, gang. Yeah.